Very good. All right, very good. Now, this is the one I worry about, because I don't know, Ms. Harrison, any diplomatic way to say this. I always worry how to say this, but here's the thing. In nature, what goes into a chicken must come out of a chicken. And now we have chicken waste.
Chicken nuggets.
Now, chicken waste isn't something we always like to talk about. However, I have to share something with you. Well, you know what? I can understand why someone might say get that off, because it is actually a problem that your generation is going to have to face. What to do with the waste from farm animals, because people have to eat food, and all over this planet there are many farm animals. And believe it or not, there are some places in this world where farmers have just taken all their animal waste and dumped it in the rivers. In the year 1989, here in the United States, something very scary happened. Down by one of the Carolinas, in a river, fish started floating dead. And when scientists started to investigate, they found that part of their bodies looked like they were eaten alive. And then they found that farmers had been dumping all their animal waste right into the rivers. And it seems that something came into the river after the animal waste. And it was a little microbe called the Listeria microbe. Teachers, if you want to look it up, it was like PSF or something. But under a microscope, it looked like a monster with sharp teeth. And although it was very tiny, apparently it was eating the fish alive. And the scientists concluded that this microbe being there had something to do with the farmers dumping their animal waste in the river. So now we have a real challenge for your generation. Meaning young men and young women your age as you get older. What are we going to do with all the animal waste? Well, watch this. Because what I'm going to show you is proof that when your smart minds think about science, you can come up with unbelievable things. Because here's what they did on the island. They built something called a decomposer. It looked like a big garbage bin. And in it, they separated the waste into two things. We're going to come back to this. But in this bottle, the letter M, that is a very special gas. And that gas is called methane. Who's ever heard that word, methane? Watch this. This is going to sound like it's from a science fiction movie. On the island, they have a school. But they have no electricity in the school. We take a lot of things for granted here in America. We take it for granted that we turn on the lights and they go on. But do you know what? There are parts of this world, they have no electricity. If you go to a rainforest, they have no electricity. If you go visit some big deserts, they have no electricity. Here's what they do. They bring something called a generator there. Who's ever heard that word, generator? You can think of almost a giant battery. It's a little bit different, but it's somewhat similar. Well, listen to this, because here's the future. The generator that makes electricity. So the school has lights. That generator is run on methane gas made out of chicken waste. I'm going to say that again. Well, sounds gross, but you know what? This might save your world. Because instead of having to throw the animal waste away, listen to what they were able to do. The generator that makes electricity for the school is run on methane gas made out of chicken waste. Not only that, but here in New Jersey, they do something similar. Teachers in Atlantic County and two other counties, Salem and Burlington County, they actually take rotting garbage from landfills now, and they're making, from methane gas, they're making cheap electricity. So everyone, we're not going to make you eat chicken waste. But, Mr. Barrett, we're going to make electricity. Everyone become electricity and bug out. All right, thank you. Now, the next thing they made, this is something called solid waste. And they were able to build something in the middle of the island. They built something called a fish farm. Now, if someone told you you were going to a farm, you might expect to see cows and pigs and chickens and goats. However, sometimes they build farms for fish. And in the middle of the island, as you can see, they had fish they could eat, some they would trade, some they would sell. And the reason they could is because this solid product was very high in nutrients. Who has ever heard the word nutrient? Who's brave enough to tell me what that word means to you? Someone who hasn't given us an answer. That young woman there hasn't given us an answer back there. What does nutrient mean to you? Okay, I like that answer. What's her name?
Michelle.
Big F from Michelle. Very smart. Michelle, very good. So, we have kind of like food in the water. So now, Mr. Barry, would you be like to show them how to become fish? Everyone become a fish. And now, we have, very good, fish on the island. But they even had one more thing. In this water, there were so many nutrients, they were able to do what we call hydroponic gardening. Any of the teachers over at the student, have you ever heard those words, hydroponic gardening? Do you know them well? Would you tell the students what they are? Anybody brave enough?
Well, if you've been to Epcot, you may have seen it. In Disney, they have a whole tour. You take a boat ride through a hydroponic garden. It's garden the stuff grows on poles. Without soil. Yeah, without soil.
Without soil. That it is possible to grow. They were able to grow plants and vegetables on top of the water without soil. So everyone, let's become vegetables and plants.